Men's basketball faces their toughest stretch of the season.
Softball posts a perfect opening weekend.
And a pair of Longhorns shine in the NBA All-Star Game. All this and more on College Press Box. Welcome to the show that eats, sleeps, and breathes Longhorn Sports. It's College Press Box. I'm Eric Goodman. That's Matt Adams, and we'll have Lauren Barash in just a moment to discuss happenings on the hardwood. Matt, where are we tipping off the show tonight?
Well, I'd like to give a quick shout out to the NBA All-Star.
Oh, absolutely.
Love the three-point contest. Not as high on the dunk contest as other people, but
Not as high.
That's a whole nother discussion, Eric. We'll save that.
Personally, I thought it was the greatest dunk contest that I've ever been a part of. I'd like to thank Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine. But where are we heading for Longhorn Sports?
Well, right now, we're going to start off with Longhorns basketball. Longhorns, coming off 4 straight wins and are ranked for the first time this season, traveled to Norman to face the number 3 Oklahoma. Texas came out firing and extended their lead 57-51 with 3:30 left in the second half. However, Hield took over as he scored the Sooners' final 12 points and hit the game winner. Texas lost 63-60 as Oklahoma remains at the top of the Big 12 standings. Hield was the highest scorer of the night with 27 points, and senior guard Isaiah Cousins added 17. Isaiah Taylor led the way for the Longhorns with 19 points.
But at least the Horns would get an easy opponent at home for their next game, right? Yeah, not when you're playing in the Big 12. On Saturday night, Texas found themselves deep in the heart of the Midwest to take on the number 14 Iowa State Cyclones and their scoring superstar, George Niang. In Iowa, always a terrific crowd. They love their Cyclones. Early on, Isaiah Taylor gets the steal. He'll take it all the way down the length of the court, find Kerwin Roach, and he's high percentage from that range. Next, tie game. The ball will find its way to Javon Felix. No hesitation, pulls the shot, drains it. Texas goes up by 3. Iowa State on offense now, and they have a scorer by the name of George Niang, and he can score from anywhere on the court. And now it's Iowa State going out in front. Kendall Yancey will respond. That's going to get the shooter's roll, trickle its way in, and we are tied at 40 in the second half. Later, Monte Morris for the Cyclones, driving all the way through the teeth of the defense, finishing and the foul. Iowa State starting to take control. And here, the exclamation point as Jamale McKee flushes the alley-oop. It would be the Iowa State Cyclones pulling it out 85-75, setting the Longhorns with a second straight loss away on the road. They're headed back to Austin for their next 2 games. Now let's welcome in basketball analyst Lauren Barash. Lauren, a very happy Monday evening to you.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Texas came into the week riding a 4-game winning streak and carrying a nice shiny top 25 ranking for the first time in the Shaka Smart era. So what were some of the things the Sooners and the Cyclones did to slow down the Longhorns?
Well, I kind of have to disagree with you as far as the Sooners go, Eric. I really don't think they slowed down the Longhorns. Keep in mind, Texas held on to the lead for almost the entire game against a number 3 ranked team. The Longhorns led for 34 minutes and 57 seconds. The game was tied for 3 minutes and 50 seconds, and OU only led for 49 total seconds. I was actually really impressed by Texas's performance. They jumped out to a 13-3 lead after a huge eBay dunk, and Yancey already beat his season high by scoring 8 points. All of this happened within the first 4 minutes of the game. Texas held Oklahoma to a season-low 63 points on 40% field goal shooting. Texas had very few turnovers, and 3 players had their best performances of the season. I don't think the Sooners slowed them down at all. I think if anything, Texas just has to play all the way through their games and fight until the last second. And that's really when the game went wrong, in the last second, when, as of course we all remember, Oklahoma's Buddy Hield hit a game-winning 3-pointer with 1.4 seconds left. And I was also impressed with the Horns' performance against Iowa State. Again, the negative that I saw here was that both Iowa State and Oklahoma were able to find a last-minute bump of energy in the final minutes to pull past the Longhorns. So I just think the Longhorns need to finish the last 5 minutes of every game the way they start the 5 minutes of every game. Against the Cyclones, Tevin Mack tied a season high, and Javon Felix had another great performance. Texas really managed a response every time Iowa State threatened to run away with the game until the last 5 minutes. The only other thing that plagued the Longhorns was foul trouble, which you can't really put on the Cyclones. Seniors Prince Ebay and Connor Lammer each picked up their 4th fouls a little over halfway through the second half, and Ebay eventually fouled out with 2 minutes and 57 seconds left. So that definitely hampered with their ability to come back and pull out a win. Overall, though, considering these were very difficult road games against top opponents, I was really impressed with the Longhorns' play.
Absolutely. Matt, anything to add?
I think the biggest thing for both these games, Lauren mentioned it already, really the Oklahoma game, it was just the last seconds, Texas couldn't finish, and they let Buddy Hield get to the free throw line, which is a huge factor. But I think one thing that stands out for both of these teams, in Oklahoma and Iowa State, they both kind of have a true duo. You have Iowa State with Niang and Morris, Hield and Cousins at Oklahoma. Texas is trying to do that with Felix and Taylor right now, but it's not the same level as either of those two teams.
Absolutely. And up next for Texas are home games against West Virginia and Baylor, two teams that the Horns have already beaten on the road this year. Lauren, is it then safe to say that neither of these opponents should be a problem this week at home?
No, I don't think so at all. I don't think it's ever safe to say that an opponent won't be a problem, especially with the current state of Big 12 basketball and the AP Top 25 in general this season. It has been a season of surprises and upsets, and I don't think the Longhorns are taking these games lightly at all. It is definitely an advantage for the Longhorns that they get to play this round of these two matchups in Austin. Shaka Smart and his team are currently 12-1 at home, so they know a thing or two about protecting the drum. But both of these teams are ranked opponents. West Virginia is currently sitting pretty at number 10, and Baylor dropped a few spots to number 25. Both of these games are definitely winnable for Texas, but in this league, anyone can beat anyone. If Texas plays excellent basketball for all 40 minutes of these next two games, they can win two huge games this week. Players like Isaiah Taylor, Prince Ebay, and Connor Lammer need to continue to shine and have impressive performances. As far as hopes of winning the Big 12 title, Tuesday's game against West Virginia is a must-win. And as far as keeping positive morale and getting a top seed in the NCAA tournament, Texas needs to win both of these games to prove that they're a force to be reckoned with.
Matt, is it going to happen? Will Texas split the pair, win them both, or drop them both?
I think knowing Shaka Smart, he's going to have both teams ready to go against West Virginia and Baylor. I'd be a little bit more hesitant about Baylor only because they are an in-state team and there's going to be that extra heat in a rivalry type game. But Shaka Smart, he knows where this team is at, 16-9. They need to get a couple of wins here before having to face Oklahoma and Kansas again.
Absolutely. Over the past several games, the Longhorns have seen some good play from upperclassmen guards in Isaiah Taylor and Javon Felix, and have also been getting more from freshmen Kerwin Roach, Eric Davis Jr., and Tevin Mack. Going forward, Lauren, who do you see having the most to say about how far this Texas team can go, the veterans or the rookies?
Well, for me, without a doubt, it's the veterans. While I'm extremely impressed by the level of play and performances of Roach, Davis, and Mack, as freshmen, they have never been in this type of pressure situation before. The upperclassmen have already faced Kansas in the Frank Erwin Center. The upperclassmen already know how important it is to get a top seed in the NCAA tournament, and the upperclassmen simply just have more experience. And as talented as these freshmen are, I think it's the juniors and seniors' experience that will help push this team forward. Shaka Smart even compared junior Isaiah Taylor to a quarterback, saying, quote, "He does a great job surveying the floor almost like a quarterback. When he plays with poise, he's really, really good at making that read, as good as anyone I've coached," end quote. But the team as a whole is an incredibly cohesive and an energetic unit. I'm excited to see what both the upperclassmen and the underclassmen can pull out for the rest of the season.
Matt, the upperclassmen, while they might be playing better under Shaka Smart, they are still Rick Barnes' guys. Are you sticking with them to lead this team, or are you sticking with Shaka Smart's men that he brought in?
You got to stick with the veterans right now because they have been the rallying cry. A guy like Prince Ebay, you would have never thought at the beginning of the season that he'd be kind of an X factor. However, I still like the young guys of Shaka Smart. I still have that doubt of these players having been 2 to 3 years under Rick Barnes. While they are on Shaka Smart's team, they're still learning the system. While these three young guys, they are starting with Shaka and they're going to go through with him. And these guys, particularly Eric Davis and Roach, we've seen big moments from them. And Mack is starting to step up. So I think they can be huge factors at the remainder of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Inconsistent, but definitely electrifying. All right, let's take a quick break, but Lauren's not going anywhere, and neither should you. We'll be right back to get her thoughts on the fate of the Longhorns women's basketball team. Welcome back to College Press Box. Over the weekend, Arkansas, North Carolina, and North Dakota State all met the Longhorns in Austin for the Texas Classic softball tournament to kick off the season. On opening night Thursday, Longhorn lefty Tiara Davis took the mound against the Razorbacks and went the distance, tossing a full 7 innings of one-run ball. Texas scored 3 in the bottom of the 6th to top Arkansas 4-1. For the next 2 matchups, Texas squared off against the Tar Heels and scored a pair of thrilling one-run victories. Friday is coming by way of the dreaded walk-off walk in extra innings.
And in the second half of the Saturday doubleheader, Texas met the Razorbacks once again, and the Horns came out on top in extra innings off of a pair of RBI singles from senior second baseman Stephanie Kao and junior first baseman Kelly Hansel. Now, after Texas had 4 close victories, the Longhorns decided to pull off another nail-biter for a 5th time on Valentine's Day. Down 1-2 in the 7th to North Dakota State, Texas took the lead with a solo home run from senior center fielder Lindsey Stevens and a sacrifice fly from the freshman right fielder to complete a 3rd walk-off of the weekend and finish 5-0.
Also over the weekend, Texas women's golf headed down to the Sunshine State to compete in the UCF Challenge. Junior Haley Mills shot 4 over par for the tournament, which was good enough for 6th place. Junior Julia Beck and sophomore Sophia Schubert also posted top 20 finishes, and as a team, the Longhorns placed 4th out of 18 schools in the tournament.
At the Tyson Invitational in Fayetteville, Arkansas, Texas track smashed some records this weekend. The women's 4x400 meter relay clocked at 3:27.94, which is the 4th fastest time in NCAA history and the fastest time in the regular season. The men's 4x400 meter relay also set records as they broke their own school record previously set. This mark ranks 13th in NCAA history. In addition to teams competing at the Tyson Invitational, another group competed at the Husky Classic in Seattle. Senior shot put thrower Ryan Krauser threw a school record with 21.28 meters and claiming the #1 spot in the nation.
On the hard court, number 38 women's tennis fell 4-3 to Rice in Houston on Saturday. The aggregate matchup came down to 6th singles, where UT senior Lana Grovenick took on Rice's Salma Zinko. The match needed a 3rd set, but eventually Zinko took the individual victory and iced the matchup for the Owls.
And as a nice change in sports here, Texas club hockey took on A&M this past Friday. Although the rivalry was heated on the rink, the Longhorns would fall short of a victory. Here's the action from the broadcast.
And we're underway. A&M wins the faceoff as A&M has recovered it, and there's a shot by Mazzilli, and he scores. Texas A&M breaks open the lead 1-0, 13:22 left to go in this first period. Looking to get something going. And that's Michael Webb, the senior, and he scores! Michael Webb!
Quite literally there, the same exact shot that A&M just took on the other side. He passed to Michael Webb. Nobody in front of him has an open opportunity, takes the slap shot, top shelf goes right in. What a beautiful play there by Texas.
He can fly, folks. Carita going down the ice. Carita all by himself now. 3 guys around him, though, for A&M. And he lets one fly for Kay Gregory, and he scores! Kay Gregory on the centering feed by Joe Carita. And Russell, nice little in and out move, and he gets past McElrath for the score right 20 seconds into the power play. And that's Gary Russell, the leading goal scorer for the Texas A&M Fighting Aggies. But Jad Musa lets it fly, and he scores! Jad Musa took it all the way himself right out of the penalty box, makes it a 4-2 game for Texas. Gary Russell sliding out in front, and he scores! Gary Russell on the 2nd goal of the game at 1. Texas A&M, a centering pass inside, and it scores! Texas A&M scores! What a goal there by Texas A&M on the centering pass, and now it's a tie game, and that goal is by, once again, Ty Walsh. John Armstrong down the left side, lets it fling at the net, and it goes past McElrath for the score! And that is Bryce Hernandez. Bryce Hernandez with his first goal tonight, and he takes the lead for Texas A&M. 5-4 is the score. This one, that'll do it, folks. Texas A&M pulls out the victory over the Texas Longhorns when the Texas Longhorns had the lead 4-2 in the 3rd period.
And when we come back, we will have one more look at Texas football. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, and thanks for spending your Monday night with us. After a certain NFL quarterback loss in the Super Bowl 50, our own Jordan Sanchez went out on campus to determine the fate of a certain touchdown dance.
What's going on, guys? Jordan Sanchez here. With the Panthers' loss in Super Bowl 50, we hit South Mall to ask students, is the dab officially dead? All right, guys, I'm here with Utah, Panthers and Cam Newton lost Super Bowl, right? With that being said, do you think the dab is now officially dead?
I don't think it's ever going to be dead, honestly. It's become a part of our generation, just as the whip and the nay-nay.
It's going to take a little more time for it to officially die, because people are still going to do it when they're intoxicated.
Yeah, it's gone.
You think so?
It's gone. It's not coming back.
Do you know what might be next?
I have no idea. Like, they might bring back the stanky, like...
With, like, old people, like, old politicians like Hillary doing it, I think it's just kind of played out.
I think people continue dabbing, just as they have continued, and dabbing wasn't just limited to Cam Newton. It extended to cancer patients. It extended to NBA players, and they use that to spread joy. So I don't think dabbing's dead at all.
I mean, I think dances last a lifetime.
No, Charlie Strong still does it.
Do you have any pointers on how to hit the dab correctly?
I mean, you just gotta add your own flavor to it and just do it.
Do you have some of that flavor? Oh, the little hand flip right there.
Oh.
Awesome. Sure. Ooh, awesome. Hey. After talking to y'all, it seems as the consensus is that Dab will live to see another season. For College Press Box, I'm Jordan Sanchez.
Let's check out where the Texas teams will be this week. On Tuesday, men's basketball will face West Virginia at home at 6 p.m. The day after, women's basketball will be at Kansas State at 7 p.m. on Longhorn Network. Also on Wednesday through Friday, men's golf will be at the John Burns Intercollegiate in Hawaii. A little jealous there.
And on Friday, softball takes on Toledo at 9 a.m. Softball will continue with Ball State at 11:30, and baseball kicks off its first game against UNLV at 6 p.m. Saturday, there's plenty of action with men's basketball taking on Baylor. Baseball faces UNLV at 2 p.m. Softball takes on Jackson State, and softball will take on Ball State at 7 p.m.
On Sunday the 21st, women's tennis will play at Duke, and women's basketball will play West Virginia at 12 p.m. It's the Shoot for the Cure breast cancer awareness game. Also that day, men's tennis will be at Rice in Houston. Baseball will be here in Austin against UNLV at 1 p.m. Softball will be also at Houston at 2 p.m. in the final game of that tournament. And women's golf will be at the All-State Sugar Bowl Intercollegiate Classic.
Now, of course, Eric, we are at Texas. How could we forget Texas football here? Now, as you may know, Texas lost some Texas coaches this week on the football team. Running backs coach Tommy Robinson and wide receiver / offensive coordinator Jay Norvell. Now that they have managed to replace these guys with Anthony Johnson and Charlie Williams, I'm excited, but Eric, how do you feel about them?
You know, a lot of times college football can look like a soap opera where you have breakups and makeups, and now it seems like Charlie Strong has a really solid fundamental coaching staff to take him into a really crucial third year, and it should be something to look forward to.
Absolutely.
All right, and that'll do it here from us in the studio. Thanks to everybody from Master Control as always. Thanks to Matt, thanks to Lauren, and have a terrific evening, and we'll see you right back here next week.
Come on. Drop it credit.